Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Right to Rise Collective. We are a podcast where we explore the power of story, healing, turning your life experience into a legacy. Today, I'm so incredibly pumped to introduce someone who truly walks the walk when it comes to building a business that is aligned, intentional, and actually sustainable. Nicole is a powerhouse business strategist, podcast host, soul led mentor for women in business who are ready to scale without selling their soul. She is the founder of Olive and Oak Business Empowerment Coaching and the voice behind the Best Kept Small Business Secrets podcast. With nearly 20 years of experience from front desk to co-owner of a thriving wellness practice, Nicole brings a grounded, no fluff approach to business growth that I just adore. She's known for cutting through the noise and creating space for entrepreneurs to breathe, build, and rise. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about her business in a box approach, the CEO Circle Mastermind that is launching this month, and why condensing time may just be the key to more peace and profit. So let's drop in. This one's going to be juicy. Nicole is a total powerhouse. I'm super grateful to have you here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. It's fun when you say those things at the beginning. I was like, ooh.
Did I do that? I did that. You're like, is that me?
Yeah.
That's you, girl. So I'm so grateful to have you here in this space and to introduce you to my people and my world. And many of them are entrepreneurs, many of them are healers. And we want to know about your entrepreneurial journey. We mentioned it a little bit in the intro. Did you know that you always wanted to lead? You went from front desk wellness company to this business coach. What did that transition look like to you?
I would actually say I never felt like when people are like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I would say that's not really my first go-to to describe myself. I feel like that to me is somebody who loves to start business after business and they have all these ideas and they do all these things. And I'm like, oh, I say I'm an entrepreneur, I help entrepreneurs, but I was like, am I kind of an accidental entrepreneur? I don't know. But I was thinking
Girl,
about
how
this
do you almost or accidentally do this?
because I think back to my trajectory of going into, I was an esthetician in my previous life. So my daughter got sick, I went into holistic health. I started at the front desk. So I didn't actually intend to own my own business. It just kind of snowballed into that. And then I fell in love with people. I fell in love with helping people elevate what they're doing so they can work smarter, not harder. And so it just kind of happened. But then looking back to it, I was like, okay, when I was an esthetician, I quit and I started doing it out of my home. And then my neighbor and I had, back in the day when vinyl lettering was really cool on the walls, we had, yeah. I went in on a business with him and we did pretty well with it. It was pretty fun. So I'm like, I guess I kind of have had that spirit, but yeah, so it's not something that I was like, oh my goodness, I have, and I do have ideas, but I don't know. It's weird. So it's a weird question actually to think about. Because I'm always the one helping everybody else with their stuff and creating their stuff that I don't actually think that much about my own, which is weird.
No, I think that's really beautiful. That shows you where your heart is, and it's more about coming from service, and really showing up powerfully for your people and the people that are meant to be in your life. So sometimes it's hard. I don't see myself as an entrepreneur either. I'm just showing up to be of service in people's lives. So and it is hard to transition from that servant mentality to, oh yeah, I own this is mine.
Well, and that's where it's and I've really stepped into the CEO role of this one business, right? But it's when I look over and my 5-year goals, I guess I do have bigger things that I want to do and come up, right? But it's it's so important to have that CEO mindset and vision because it's so easy to not. And I guess I've not had that. So I've had to work intentionally to have it and help my people as well. So
what was the pivotal moment where you were like, yeah, maybe you have this realization that maybe you have something a little bit more powerful to share with people and to offer people.
Yeah. What would that be? That's a great question. Um, I would say the moment of like, because when I owned the wellness center, it was amazing. We had a bunch of chiropractors, massage therapists, nutrition, acupuncture. Like it was amazing, and we helped people. But like I started at the front desk, and then I was invited to be owner. So like I didn't have like the skin in the game. I didn't have like the startup piece of that, right? So it was like, cool, yay, I'm the owner, and I can do all the things, and I lead the team, and I do all this stuff. But then we sold it, and I moved here, and so stepping into, I was like, people just started asking me for help with their business because like it was easy. I was like, yeah, like you're this, you should be doing this, or I just wanted to help them, right? Like I worked so hard taking. I didn't go to college, and I don't have a bachelor's in business or anything fancy like that, but I worked really hard for different certifications and different team trainings and different things to elevate us. So because we were a lot of women, and I wanted us to be able to have the balance of all of the things and not just be all work or not just be all home. So really worked hard at that piece. So then when I went to go help people kind of consulting and coaching, it was just a natural progression, and I didn't take it that serious right away because I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. It was easy. And then all of a sudden I was like, shit, like I actually like am massively helping people, and like they are doing really, really well. And like the messages I would get of like, and it's not about me. Like I've always just asked God to let me be the vessel. So, but at some point, like you, it keeps you doing the work because you're like, oh my gosh, like you didn't see this, or like I can help them see things in a way that helps them work easier and better and have more balance and bring home more money. Like it's a win. And so it's really been like probably honestly in the last 3 years where I really just took the reins and was like, yeah, no, like this is serious stuff. Like I am like, I'm like, wow, it's kind of an infancy, even though like, I'm like, I've had 20 years almost, which makes me sound freaking old as crapola, but of being in business, right? But like, I really do, to be totally honest, like it's just been in the literally probably the last 5 years, but 3 years where I've like dug deep and be like, no, like this is amazing. Like you can help people truly. So I guess that would be a really long answer, my dear, to your question of what the pivotal moment was. So
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful, and it is, sometimes it's not like a lightning bolt where you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. It is this following the breadcrumbs to your
yeah,
purpose. God doesn't work in this like lightning bolt way sometimes. It is just like, okay, I'm going to give you this, and if you can do this, then I'll
yeah,
expand. It's kind of like what you were just talking about before we hit record, the prayer of Jabez and like expanding our territory. We have to learn how to manage this,
hmm,
and and then the expansion occurs, but you got to show up for your people like this,
which is so
but
true. And I think like, and that's where in my head I'm like, you think entrepreneur, like they're $10 million, they're doing all the things, they've got all this stuff. It's like a whole different level of things. But it was like, no, you're right. Like it is. It's in which I teach my people too. It's like you get to be in that learning, like helping mode, and then you can elevate into the next level too. So yeah, you're right. It is like breadcrumbs a little bit, which is humbling because I'm like, I am the person too. Like there's a few moments over the last few years even where I was like, okay, God, let's go. I am ready. Like, put me in the game. Like, what are we waiting for?
I've been planted for 3 years. I'm ready to see something here.
Right? It's like, whoo, come
Yeah.
on. So yeah, it's all humbling too, right? Like it's all
Yes.
like part of the journey, and even just pivoting the last few months, I wanted to do different things, and I've had to do different, if I want different results, I have to do different things. So it's all learning
It
and good
is. Yeah, it is that roller coaster ride where you're like, I don't know if I can handle it. And then it slows down and, you're just like, ugh. I love that you are speaking to humility. It is a humbling experience at first, and always when you get to these different levels, it's not like you get to this place in business or in life and then you're like, yep, I did it. It's like this constant like leveling up and like how I can be of service. And I love that you continue to draw the conversation back to I just wanted to be of service, um and the what drives you is the results and, the feedback. That really is for me too. Like, you can't put money on that,
Mm-mm.
that will never, you can't put a price tag on that.
Mm-mm. No.
It really is that feedback, and women and minorities, which is who I serve, is people who have been oppressed, and we haven't had the access to business tools. We've had to learn it on our own, just kind of bootstrapping it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you didn't go to school for your MBA doesn't mean that you are not highly, highly qualified for what the results you can actually get for someone.
And it's interesting. And that's where I think too, as you say that too, I'm like, it does make me realize like, yes, like some people that's really important. Schooling is really important. Like, and it can be very valid for that. But I remember this is when it turned for me, because I was always like, all of my best friends, my ex, everybody was chiropractor and doctor and all of these amazing like credentialed people. And anytime we'd go into a room, I'd be like, where'd you go to school? And I was like, I went to the bathroom a lot because I was like, I don't want to enter this conversation. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was a hard thing to be like, oh my gosh. But then all of a sudden, like conversations changed and people, it wasn't that. And it was more of like asking me for what they should be doing for their stuff. And I was like, what? And then being able to really like show up in a way that could give them value of things that they hadn't seen, even though they had everything look good on paper, right? It's that real life stuff that allows you to be able to see things from a different perspective. And so that was a really cool moment that I just thought about the other day, because I was like, it literally, I would hide, Leslie, because I was like, I don't want to deal with that conversation. I felt so much littler than everybody, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, and then fast forward a few years, like I have 25 doctors that I am coaching, and they're all asking me for what to do with their business. And it's like, what in the actual? Like, how does that even happen? Like, it's wild.
It
It's
is. It
wild.
is, but that's the thing. That's, your testimony is the fact that you hit the streets, you started serving people powerfully, you started providing value, people started giving feedback, and that is where we need to be in life. Instead of leading with, I am a cardiac nurse, I've got more letters behind my name. I could write a book or a paragraph. I'm also neurodivergent. I have a huge audience of neurodivergent women. That is something that's really funny about a lot of us, is we can't stand small talk. The hey, how are you? How's the weather? What do you do for a living? Those kind of conversations are like, I can't do this.
No,
So
makes
I
me
have
want to
to
pull my
go
eyeballs
in the
out. Yeah.
bathroom.
Yep. Yep. I always ask people, I'm like, what got you to do what you do? Like, I don't really care what you do, but like, what was your path to get there is intriguing to me, right? Instead of like, what do you do? I'm a business coach. I'm a blah, blah, blah. So it's like,
Right.
yeah, that I totally agree. It's like, it can
Yeah.
make you, it's so hard because life is so, that's why I feel so small a lot of the time, because I was like, no, I don't actually, nope.
I need to go to the bathroom.
I do. Oh, plus got issues. It's fine.
So funny. I love it. Well, we're going to switch directions too, because I know that sustainability is something that is deeply personal to you and to me, and not only in business, but in life. And I think that that is one of the things that people don't really understand. If they step outside of their corporate job because they are burned out and start a business, how do they sustainably create their life and their business so that they're not burning out there too? What is your philosophy about building a business that actually fits your life and not the other way around?
Oh, it's huge to me. I'm like, I am very much like, well, my background was chiropractic, so your nervous system is so important, right? Like, I thought, like, cool, I know the nervous system, I know adjustments, I know all of that. But then now, as I've coached, I became trauma informed, like, just trying to really like help people do that. And so I would say my approach is probably, this is where like maybe I didn't have schooling. I don't know if it's good or bad, Leslie, but I'm always like, I like to do, I don't follow the path. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
typically, like, I don't know. But I always will have them. We tune in, like we say a little prayer a lot of the time before sessions. I always pray before I get on calls with people when I start working with somebody. I have a notebook and I just make my own little prayer in the beginning of it because I'm like, I want to be, again, the vessel for them. But then I'm like, I just empower them. I'm like, this is your business, is your plan with God. Like, this isn't about me. It's not. It's like, I really try to help them create what they want and not, because this is also what happens with people. And I love like that you have all those letters behind your name, but you do have the schooling, and they came, especially like my naturopath clients and the functional med, like they're like, this is the only way that I can do what I do. And I was like,
Yeah,
but is it really
that's
true?
true.
Like, is it like, and just trying to challenge a little bit of like what society tells us we need to do or should be doing. And sometimes it is that, and that's okay. But like, I think when we can sit in intentionality and be like, is this actually what I want? Because where burnout comes from, what I have found is we're trying to fit in somebody else's box. We're trying to do what we think we're supposed to do. And when I can help people peel away the layers in their business, and it can be simple things like how they take on their new clients or their any of their processes that they do in the middle, like when we make that who they actually are, it's so much fun and they really enjoy it. So it's like you really just look at like who they are, what they want to do, and help them create that. And that's why it's the hardest thing for me. People are like, what's your methodology and what's your thing? And I was like, it's so individual because
Yeah.
everybody is different. Like I have an
Right.
assessment, it's called mindset, operations, and data, my mod, because those are important things to me to like gauge where they're at. But I'm like, everybody's so personalized that I'm like, no, we sit, and I sit for 90 minutes to 2 hours when I first meet with them to like get a feel for who they are, what they want, and what they're doing. And so it's because I think in the world of we can have anything we want, it can also be overwhelming. And then there's analysis paralysis and people don't take action. So did I answer the question?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I do believe we hinted to it earlier. There's people are starting to kind of understand the divine feminine and the divine masculine and this beautiful balance between both of those. And what you're speaking to is bringing flow back to the business. It's not 9 to 5. It's not this box that we think that it's supposed to be in. What works for me is not going to work for you. And the fact that what a gift to give somebody 90 minutes to 2 hours of just being seen and heard personally, and then kind of reverse engineering their business and systems from that place. That does speak to the more feminine way of, you're bringing like empathy to it. You're like, okay, I'm listening to who you are, what you are. Let's structure this around that. I don't have a 3-step, 5-step cookie cutter program. This is individualized and customized to you and your needs. And I think that's just absolutely gorgeous. So
It's pretty amazing. And that's where I also have found that my favorite way to help people too is like I used to then do that, and then we do 1-hour coaching for 3 months because that's what I was taught to do, what I thought I was supposed to do. And it is fine. And I've done that for years for some people now. Like, but what I have found is there is such magic too in those bigger time blocks. And so I started doing days and weekends with people because then we just get everything done at one time, and it's not this constant to-do list hanging over your head of things that right, like it's like we all, and I started with my own business because I would take like quarterly trips to the hotel because I was like I just needed to like get stuff done because I was so busy working on everybody else's stuff. And then I was like, oh, I should help other people do this. Like everybody needs to do this. So it just started into this magical place because there's just so much to do in the day to day. But again, like I don't want people to work so dang much that they don't get a life. Like there's such a power in play too, right? Like, and not everybody lives in the amazing Hawaii lands that they can like go out, right? Like some of us live in the desert here, which I love. I'm very grateful for, but it's also like life is too short to work all the time. Like that is not what it's about. So you mentioned like the feminine, like absolutely, like that is like the essence of creating and like connecting with like what they're supposed to do. And I joke, I'm like, I'll bring in masculine sometimes. I'm like, when there's some conversations around money, because a lot of us, they're not nonprofits, right? We have to have a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harder
It is this
conversation.
balance.
Yep. But the way we were intended to be and created, like when we can create from that space of our beautiful feminine and connecting and asking God, like, what are we supposed to do? It's just,
Yeah.
it's so amazing and so powerful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Life, it teaches you that you've got to get on social media, you've got to do all these things. And I think my best ideas are when I take care of myself and when I go on those hikes and when I tap back into nature. I've had, these just profound moments because I'm making myself still enough and my brain still enough to actually tap into what it is that I need to be doing. Not what the world is telling me to do, but what my higher self or my God has meant for me to do. I love that you spoke to that as well. But I do want to go back to, I love this thing that you offer, business in a box, and you talk about condensing time because this is, I'm a hyper focused person. I can move mountains in 3 days, literally.
Yeah.
So speak more to what you do and that condensed model of coaching.
Yeah, so it's typically my 2.5 days. We start at night, we do half a day, and then we dive in for 2 days. And again, it's personalized. So there's been people that have come to me that they're so busy, like they haven't done any to-dos forever. So we just literally work on them and get them done and get them out from underneath all of the stress. Because half of the time our stress is just from the stuff we haven't done, right? And then I have people come to me that are like, I know I'm supposed to be doing more. I just don't know what, and I don't have the time and the bandwidth to take care of it, right? Like, so it's like, oh my gosh. And then I have some people that are like, well, I'm doing okay, but I want to do better. So again, it's this whole gamut of things, but it is amazing. Like I geek out. We just rent a place, and most of the time people fly here or drive. I have a lot of people from the valley. And we just and again, I do it in a nervous system friendly way because I'm not going to also I want them to be hyper focused. We want to do all the things, but I also know now too when there needs to be a break or throw in a massage or something to really again create from that space.
Back in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is literally my most favorite thing that I can do with people. I have my first retreat coming with multiple people at the end of this month too, so I'm really excited about that. I've done just solo ones, or I've done a few with two people. They were business owners together, but it's mostly been single, so I'm excited to do a group one too, just to see that energy, because I always say business shouldn't be done alone, and so I'm like, but they don't know each other, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, that's almost even more beautiful. There's no expectations there, right? Get in those rooms with people who think like you do. I didn't have that here in Hawaii. There's so many great things about Hawaii, but what Hawaii is missing, or what I have not connected with, is non-corporate networking events. So I love that you're creating a space where people can get together, because that is really where you feed off of each other and that energy. We met at a mastermind. I've got 4 whiteboards that I'm just filling with ideas, and that's just the downloads that are coming from being in that room. I love that you've created this. This is your CEO circle, correct?
Well, part of it, actually, no, there's two. So they're both CEO things, which I was like, it's interesting that it came up. So my CEO Reset and Rise is the retreat. It's the 2.5 days. And then I have a mastermind starting. That's going to be 3 months. That is the CEO Circle Mastermind, where it's helping people, grow with clarity, systems, and soul. Because I've just found there's so many things in a business that need to be touched on. And again, not everybody can get away for a weekend. Not everybody can fly to Arizona, right? So it's my ability to be able to create and cultivate space where we're working. And this is the thing, I condense time, but we also need to I always say, be a take action Tina. In fact, my son called me earlier and I said something. He goes, "Are you not being a tat, Mom?" And I was like, oh my gosh, when your kids start to know your language, it's pretty funny. I was like, about my flat tire on my car. I was like, okay, fine. But being able to hit those things, your external, what do people see on your messaging? And then how are your systems working? And then your mindset, all of these different things, but then also allowing the time to work on them. So it's not just an hour call, it's going to be 90 minutes. We're going to have some content and then time to get it done. Because my hate, and I feel like I want to just throw up when people when I would coach people and we'd do, okay, see you next Thursday at 10. And then we'd get on the call and they're like, I didn't do anything.
Right.
Like I don't want to take your money for that.
Right.
Life is so busy and there's so much to do as entrepreneurs. So that's why I'm like, I feel like I'm just kind of disrupting how, and maybe other people do this, I don't know, but I haven't seen it in this capacity because I'm like, I want people to win so desperately that I'm like, a lot of the models that have been happening don't really work. And so to be able to find something that can help people, like, it just jazzes me up. And I'm also a Manny Gen, so I can't really keep things. I don't know if you know human design at all, but I'm like, I can't really keep things the same for very long. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but
Yeah. I love that you're speaking to that. Is where my business birthed from too. Was I was in the holistic nurse space, holistic coaching space, and people would just show up. My clients were not doing the things. I created these beautiful courses and gave them this amazing homework, and they'd come back to the coaching session week after week and they're like, yeah, we did a little bit of it, but not fully committing. And that was when I was like, okay, like, we need to change the coaching sessions to actual like laser focused sessions where we get stuff done and do whatever it is that they need to do.
Yeah.
This hour, however long. I do think that is where people are at. People are starting to be so overwhelmed by all of the things that they just need that accountability and do this, now do this. This is this,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that model is absolutely brilliant for where we're at.
Yeah, because if you think about it, and as you said that too, I didn't even think about it, but like we're inundated. Like I have had to like really take a step back from my social media feed because it's everybody. It's not even my ideal people anymore that I want to help and serve. It's like, do this course, do this, you want this, and I'm like, it makes me, and I'm not like, but it makes me want to punch a wall because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much information out there.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you're totally right.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at too. And a lot of people that are in my community, we're in this total almost shock from social media where it's not even burnout anymore. We're just not even responding to people anymore. We'll get on social media to drone out and get our dopamine hit for the day, but people aren't even responding anymore,
I know.
And if that was something that I had to get over as an entrepreneur, people are spending 50 to 100 hours on social media creating content that people aren't even looking at or responding to. So if that's how you feel you're going to build your business, you definitely need to figure something else out. Taking those social media and intentional cleanses, to tap back into yourself.
And like you said too, to go and take those spiritual like moments, like I do prayer hikes, right? Like, and it just to really clear my brain. So making sure that you have the capacity and the time to really come back to your true self, right? Versus like all that noise, because that's where I'm like, I start to hate my business when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything right. Like I should just go work at Costco, right? Like, because it's like, you just feel like, oh, when you have so much noise that it's wild. It really, really is.
Yeah. So let's bridge from there to with all the overwhelm and with all of the social media burnout and everything, simplifying, scaling, and soul. If someone listening is currently overwhelmed with a never-ending to-do list or drowning in all of this clutter that we have, what's one thing that they can do today?
I would say if they can go to the ocean, if they live in Hawaii, go do that. But there is a power in play. Like there is a huge power in being able to just take away from that and let yourself, because I've also been there where it's like, no, I have so much to do. I just have to get it done. I have to do it. And then you get in that survival mode, but you're not really being productive. You're not. So taking a look, taking a step back, and then really realizing and analyzing. I think so many things that get on our to-do list, Leslie, are things that we think we should be doing. But if we literally put them all on a piece of paper, I would guarantee 80% of them probably aren't that important. They're not going to move the needle forward. It's not going to help you serve more or make more money.
Right.
So really looking at that. And I think too, like you said, people spend endless hours making content. for social media, and this kills me, and I've had some tough conversations with some of my people, and I'm like, this is great, and if it's your side passion and like this is your creative outlet, it's one thing, but like you're not gaining momentum and traction or impact that way. Like you have to figure out a different way to do it. So really looking at that list and being like, what is moving the needle forward, and either do it, delegate it, do you have somebody that can help you, or dump it. That's probably the majority of the things. The 3 Ds. Mm-hmm.
Triple D. I love it.
But really, because that's where we get so inundated, and it's so easy to then like feel like you have post-it notes everywhere and all of the things, and then you do nothing. Like, I mean, I think we've all been there where it's like, oh my gosh, like, and then you start to do the dumb things that don't actually matter because it's the easy things that don't take much brain power. But if you can really just take some time to refocus and recalibrate on what is really overwhelming you and look at it from that lens. That's what I always do.
I love that. That's great advice. So, this is the Right to Rise podcast. So I have to ask, how has storytelling played a role in your brand and business?
Ooh. Okay, this is fun. And this is where I think I was drawn to you. And I love, like, anybody listening, I don't know how everybody has met you, but like this is the wild, and I told you this, right? How you ended up sitting next to me before Jillian's event. Yeah. So the fact that like Instagram stalked you somehow, like you came across my thing because I feel compelled to write a story, talk more, like do this. I literally was on your page the day before the event we were at, and I look over and I'm like, that can't be the girl that I was on her page last night. I'm on my Instagram, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, I felt like there was a celebrity next to me. Because I was like, what are the chances? Like, I was like, you're not from Arizona. So I was like, why are you in this Arizona room? It was wild because I have felt like this pull to share more and do more because I've been really private about my life and my business and my stuff. So like, it's safer to be quiet, but I feel like God is pulling it out of me. And so I would say that's a really long answer, but I did one little post about like my life because it was coming into play a little bit more about business and like life is precious and the things I went through, and not that it's about views or engagement, but lo and behold, it's the highest viewed anything on social media I've done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is where I'm like, I don't really know, but that's where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come to Hawaii and write my book with you. I feel like, is that like,
Yes.
We can do a joint. We'll work on your business for a few days and then we'll do my book. We'll do it all then.
I love that. Yeah, that is a current offering that I'm working on. Is I've got a beautiful space now, and I'm pulling people in to come mastermind their book together, and I take very different approach to things. I am a somatic healer and I'm a massage therapist. I'm a holistic nurse. I teach people how to tap into that sacred space and their higher self, and how to take care of themselves so that they can create from that space. And we are entering a place in business and in life where nobody knows what is real and artificial anymore, but what cuts through the noise is that story. That's personal, and that is your medicine, and that is how people are connecting to humanity now, is through that story. That is why your story coming to life, that little piece, that little sliver, people saw your humanness and they saw themselves in that, and that is the magnet. And that is why I teach people that the old belief is that writing a book or writing your story or telling your story is going to be really hard and laborious, and you're going to have to sit in front of a computer and like type it out. But how we write your book is we hike, we go swim, we go paddleboard, we go swimming or get to the ocean, and we have conversations and I record them. And then we can piece together, once you have that story out of you, we can piece together all the rest of it. And then the other piece of that is once that story is written, I'm a hybrid publishing house, so we just publish it and get it out there into the world when you're ready. We've entered this place where our story is our connection to humanity, and it's our
Yes.
connection to our future clients. It's our connection to our future friends. And yeah, I highly encourage you to lean more into that. And I would love to have you here.
For real though. I mean, I feel like you can't even make up the fact that like you literally were right there next to me. So I am like, that's why I was like, and then here's the funny part that I don't think I told you. I was like, okay, but then we had Laura, I think, between us, and I was like, it was fine. Like you guys were chatting, and then I had the other girl, so it didn't really connect with you. And then I was like, well, even if I don't get to talk to her at this event, this is literally, you were the only person in a room of 50 that I was like, I want to make sure to be intentional about. So I was like, the last day, I was like, well, if I don't get to talk to her, that's okay. I was like, then I can message her at least after and be like, hey, I was at Jillian's event. So wouldn't be as creepy, but a little bit fun. But like, and then I was like walking back from the bathroom and I was so cold in that place that I was like, I'm going to go stand outside and warm up. And you were there. So I was like, okay, it was meant to be. Like I purposely didn't go stalk you or like pull you aside.
I don't have an air conditioner in Hawaii, so every moment that I could get out there, I was like bathing in the sun.
I don't know why I didn't think about getting outside. I was like, oh, I'm here in the event. I have to stay here. Like the rule follower in me just didn't. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to freeze to death. So.
Aw. Yeah.
So,
Well, and that conversation was so great. I didn't even know that was something that was happening. It's interesting to hear that. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for connecting with me that day.
yeah.
All right. We're going to switch it to something fun.
Ooh, okay. What do we got?
All right. We got a lightning round.
Okay.
right.
You didn't tell me about a lightning round. Woo.
Um,
Let's do it.
All right. So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay.
That was not a very nice face. What?
Current favorite podcast episode of your own?
Ooh. Well, I just launched one today and it was with another fellow coach, Rich Hoffman, and it was so fun. We just talked about all things business. We got nitty gritty about what holds ourselves back and what we see in clients. So it was really fun. So it just launched.
When is that one going to air?
It literally did this morning. So it's just
nice. So it's up. Okay.
Yep.
Favorite personal mantra right now?
Favorite personal mantra? I would say, what came to mind, I'm just saying, I am enough.
I love that. All right. Business tool or app that you actually love to use?
Ooh. Business tool or app? I feel like there's so many. I should know this off the top of my head though.
Well, I mean, everybody's different, right? Like everybody, you might be a go high level girl, Notion. I'm still a Post-it note girl.
I do love my Post-its. That's where I feel like I always tell people, don't let the old lady in. Like you got to keep, but like she comes in strong with that stuff. I mean, and I tell people I know all about those things, but no, do I know? I would say, I mean, I was a little bit techie. I was able to help you a little bit with Riverside here, so that was really fun.
Shout out to Riverside. All right, and what would you tell Nicole from 10 years ago?
Ooh, that's a good question. I ask people this on my podcast too, and I've never actually thought about it. So that's weird that I haven't thought about it. But I would say, don't overthink everything. Just go and just trust your gut. Like you're way more smart and intuitive than you give yourself credit for.
I love that. I hope she's listening, little Nicole. All right. So where can people find you and connect with you and learn more about working together?
My Instagram is Coach Nicole Roufs, and then my website is oliveandoakcoaching.com. So those are probably the two easiest ways to find me. I'm on Facebook, not very active. I just changed my name on there today, so I'm trying to be a little bit more on there, but it's so many things. It's so hard to do all the things.
It's a thing. It's like the first thing I'm going to hire out for.
Yeah. Yep, I know. I have social media girl, but I feel like there's just something, like she helps me with posts and stuff, but like it's still, I want it to be my voice. Like there's stuff where like, so I just feel like it's a fine line. Like I love her inspiration or ideas, but like I still want to own that. And I want to have the conversations with people. I want to I don't feel like I will ever pass that piece off. I never say never, I guess, but I mean, I just think that's the fun part about being able to be on social media is the real life stuff. So
Yeah, and that piece that you will always get me. Always. Like even if somebody else is just like liking it and then I go back to it and intentionally connect with you, that is the magic. And I love that you spoke about that because those connections, even if I can't help you, just having that conversation might spark something in you or me.
I agree. I'm the same way. I'm always like, hey, let me just help you. Like, let's just figure it out. Like, I don't need, you don't have to be a client. Like, if you have a question or need something, like, I am always there. And like I said earlier, like my tagline is, I don't know everything. I know enough to be dangerous, and I will always help and try to like guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Hi, friend.
Yep, my daughter got home. I told you I had doggies.
We love dogs. Actually, mine just joined the party. So, anything coming up for you that you want to shout from the rooftops? Anything in closing?
No, I'm just excited to be here. I'm honored to be on your podcast. I can't wait to just work with you more. And I think God's really good on his timing and his intervening of things. So I would say, I guess, stay tuned because I do feel like I'm pregnant with this story. So I just need you to help me birth it.
Yeah, it is. It is like birthing. I had another author that just became a published author a couple months back, and she described it the same way. A story that was being built inside of her. She wrote her book in 10 days, and she was a published author in less than 90 days. Wow. And she spoke of that. It was like this deep pull, and then this birthing, or like this building process, and then this birthing process, and that is really the best way to describe it. So I'm happy to be on this journey with you.
Oh, I'm excited. And I love to get things done fast. I did the caliper testing, which we talked about on my podcast today with the other coach. But like, I'm high urgency. Like, so when I decide I want to do something, I just want to do it. Because I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like probably way overdue with this pregnancy.
Well, let's induce. Yeah. We're going to put some Pitocin in there.
Yes. Okay, Nurse Leslie, you can
All right. Well, Nicole, thank you for sharing your magic today and your medicine. I call it your medicine because, this is how you're showing up in the world, and so powerfully with your voice. Thank you for sharing your strategies with us today with a full heart. The whole conversation was just so full of gold. I can't wait to go back. But to everyone listening, if you're ready to build a business that serves your life and not just this cookie cutter coaching program, Nicole is just incredible. I'm going to link where to find her and her website in the description below. So check her out, even if it's just having an intentional conversation with time. Keep writing, keep rising, and you know where to find me if you need anything.